Dave, you guys have been very good and very adamant about kind of staying where you're at. You obviously are up 2-0 in this series. That's a very talented team over there with the Brewers. How does this group just kind of maintain the focus, really looking to find a way to potentially close out this series here at home?
I think it's pretty easy. You have a long-term goal to win a championship, and then on the short term, the micro, how do you do that? You just stay in the moment. Don't lose that edge and stay focused. And then it's pretty easy. I mean, there's a lot at stake. So I like getting here, working out, getting our guys kind of get their bodies moving. But like you said, they're a talented team. They're not going to quit, and we still got to keep playing good baseball.
Last year in the postseason, the storyline was limited starting pitching, but having this incredible bullpen. This year, from what we've been able to see, whether it was Blake Snell in Game 1 of this series, Yoshinobu in Game 2, what is it like just having starting pitching as the focus for this group, and how that's been able to kind of control the narrative or even just kind of control what you guys are hoping to achieve?
Well, it's just a different way to, get where we want to go. For me, you just look at the roster and you play the hand you're dealt and try to maximize it. And, this year, fortunately, the health, the performance, the talent level of the starting pitching, we're showing that, we're going to ride them and, challenge them and kind of pivot when we need to. But it's been really good. Different quality of life, I would argue to say better. We still got to go out there and finish the job.
Let's go to Bill all the way on the left, fourth row.
Yeah, David, at one point last week you said we're not going to win the World Series without Shohei getting out of his slump. You've won 7 out of 8 postseason games with him contributing very little offensively. Do you still think it's a necessity?
Well, I do, and I think the contribution is not just by batting average either. Certainly him being in the lineup, posting, I think getting the walks, allowing for Mookie to have opportunities to drive runs in, that's contribution. So for me, I think the first 2 games in Milwaukee, his at-bats have been fantastic. And so that's what I've been looking for. That's what I'm counting on. So I still stand by that, and we got a long way to go to win the World Series.
Fabian, straight back on the left.
Yeah, Dave, to follow up on that, what do you think has been better about Shohei's at-bats this series? And is there anything different that you've seen that the Brewers have done that the Phillies were not doing, or that he was able to react to better than?
I think he's controlling the strike zone. I think he's still staying aggressive when he gets his pitch. There was a line out to the right fielder. There was 3 walks. There was, the base hit in a run, situational opportunity. So those are positives for me. You can only take what they give you. So for me, I think he's in a good spot right now.
Let's come down to the second row on the left. We have Jack, Katie, and Beth.
One more on Shohei. Did you sense any level of frustration from him, especially during the DS when he was struggling at the plate, or even coming into this series? Have you seen him just kind of handle, the way teams have pitched him and the fact that his numbers aren't kind of what we're accustomed to seeing from him?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. And I think that's expected, and I don't mind it. I like the edge. He's obviously a very, very talented player. And we're counting on him. And so for him to realize his own personal expectations, and if they're not realized, then certainly there's frustration. So he's just a great competitor. He's very prepared, and there's still a lot of baseball left.
Dave, one more on the starting pitching. When you look at what your rotation has been able to do all October long, how has it changed how you've managed these ball games? Yeah,
I think that it's sort of broken up into different parts of the year with the starting pitching, where they're at in their workload, how they're throwing the baseball, trying to take a longer view of what's to come, layering that in, and then sort of right now feeling like you've built up enough equity to kind of push them when need be. To also, deploy guys in the pen when I feel the right time. So it's nuanced. There's a lot to it. but I think certainly I've shown that right now where these guys are at, they're in a good spot to be pushed.
Let's go to Beth on the aisle of the second row.
On that note, Dave, how many more complete games can you get out of your staff?
I'll take as many as we can get. And so, they're doing their part by attacking, being efficient, and putting, themselves in a position to do that.
Looking ahead to Game 4, of course, I know you're focused on 3, but looking ahead to 4 with Shohei due to start, he's been managed so carefully pitching-wise this season. What is realistic in terms of how far he could go, especially if you are in a clinch position that night?
Yeah, I think that for us, getting him through 7 innings, I think twice this year. So I feel, the century mark isn't like necessarily a ceiling on pitches. I think it's just kind of contingent how he's throwing, and he's waited for this moment, and I think that with the rest that he's got going into that game, he's going to be ready to go.
Dave, with the buildup of Shohei throughout the year as a pitcher, the health of Tyler, the health of Blake, when you got all these guys back, have you seen them kind of start to play off each other with their performances, and it's become contagious kind of?
Absolutely. I think that's kind of, as far as back as time where, as far as baseball time, where starters sort of want to feed off each other, compete against one another, push each other, and that's what, we're sensing from our staff. And it's going to be hard to top Blake and what Yoshinobu did, but I'm sure, Glass is going to, try to put his mark on this CS.
Let's go to John, back right.
Yeah, your starters are all very talented, but your number 4 starter is the best hitter in the league. So presumably he's not pitching a complete game. You'll probably have to use relievers at some point. Is that fair to say? And what is your confidence level right now at the back end? I assume it's Vesia, Sasaki, and Trinan. And do you have an order there? Who's the closer?
No, I would say I feel really good with those 3 guys finishing the game. So yeah, but I think that I feel comfortable. I feel very comfortable, very confident, and with all those guys and some other guys too, John. So I do think that I'm not going to buy into a certain narrative. I trust our players, and they're going to need to respond when given the opportunity, and that's kind of how I manage, and I think we've had some good success doing it that way.
Let's go to Chelsea, third row on the left.
Hey, Dave, you kind of maybe just answered this, but I know the other day you had mentioned you guys noticed Roki's velo ticking down, and we're just kind of being a little careful there. Is he full go, or any lingering concerns about him after that?
No concerns. Training staff, coaches, everyone feels good, so he's full go, and if his number's called tomorrow night, he'll be ready.
Let's go to Sonia in the middle.
Dave, this is kind of related to Roki, but do you have to, be more mindful of how you use him and kind of check in with him more, given that this is something new and that the velo did go down a little the other day?
I do. No is the question. No is the answer. I do think that there was a slight, down tick, but that could tick up tomorrow. So I think that he's healthy. He feels good, and we're in the postseason. So you got to be ready when called upon. All hands on deck. So we're trying to win a championship, and if he's the best option, he's going to pitch.
Let's do 2 more, third row in the middle, and then we can finish up with Jim.
Dave, 4 straight road wins. What does it say about the makeup of this team and this group?
A lot. I think a lot of that is experience. You've got to be able to weather, crowd noise, outside noise, some momentum going against you, and to be able to kind of combat that. A lot of it is you've got to have been through it, and a lot of our guys have been through things, and we don't panic, and we sort of kind of stay the course. And so whether you speak to experience, character, makeup, talent, all that stuff, you got to win games on the road. And I think we do a pretty good job of it.
And then let's go back to Jim, 5 or 6 rows back there on the left.
Oh, Skipper, Jim Hill, KCAL 9 News. With all the success, excuse me, with all the success that you and your club have had, excuse me, and are having, what are the pitfalls that you have to be aware of in order to get back to get that trophy again?
You know, pitfalls. I think we're prepared. I know we're focused. You know, you got to play well. I know we're not going to beat ourselves. Pitfalls. So, I mean, I don't really see any sort of pitfalls. I think our eyes are wide open. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to have to get beat. You know, if somebody's going to beat us, they're going to have to beat us. And so that's sport. And so, yeah, Jimmy, I don't see any.
All right, thanks, Doc. Appreciate
All
the
right.
time.
Yep. Thanks, guys.